Okay, we're recording. So tonight we're gonna tag team and just really touch on like things to keep in mind when coming up with a product combination for somebody who's never used the product before. And I think Mom wants to touch a little bit on the pros of market partner opportunity, and then we're gonna dive in a little bit to shampoos. We do have a lot of shampoo options, to be honest, and we can't do like a thorough analysis and explanation of each shampoo on one call. It's just not possible. But I'm gonna do kind of an overview. So, um, Mom, do you want to get started? Or do you want me to get started?
I can
Okay.
talk a little bit. I mean,
Right.
most of you know because you've been doing this for a little while. But when we started back in 2017, 2018, I'm not sure. Um, Back then you used to get these really great gift boxes when you signed up a market partner. And so my philosophy when we first started, and we didn't have anything like Mo neighborhoods or whatever they call it, and building blocks
Yes,
and all
we
that.
did.
Did,
We had
did it
all of that.
did it
Yeah.
really back then?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, shows you how much I did not pay attention. But what what I my philosophy was when I started, I kept thinking of the fact that everything I do, I like pros and cons to things. I like to think through something and understand what the pros of something are and the cons, and then understand all the potential outcomes, and what you should do. And in my mind back then, there were no cons to being a market partner and all pros because you saved 30% on the product. We didn't have the training that I know for sure that they do now. They've got that great Market Partner Academy. We had a lot of resources. We had a lot of help from Upline. So there were all these pros to being a market partner and no cons. And so my first month, I took the view I was going to talk to everybody like I'm doing them a favor and letting them on a secret and teaching them how to be a market partner and not even a VIP. And I signed up 9 market partners that first month. And like Caitlin said, it was easy and it was fun and it was exciting. And I just when you do this, because you're always going to have skeptics, the way you can kind of turn them around as you're signing up a customer, or even there's less commitment now with the fact that you don't have to have 3 flex ships like we used to have the 3 flex ships with a VIP. And that was always a difficult sell when somebody wanted to stop buying and you told them they couldn't stop buying because they had to do 3. But it's very interesting when you start to talk to someone about here are all the potential outcomes of either this is a business or this is a customer, and there's really no downside. Why not try it? But one of the hard things, and we've touched on this a little bit, because these products aren't instantaneous. Now, I've had a lot of people, as if it's probably some of you guys that have tried it and the first time fell in love with it and they were like, wow, this is really great. And others said, oh, I didn't see any difference, and actually it took me more time because you want me to shampoo twice, and all these different steps, and they'll talk about it that way. But if you can come up with some kind of selling point to why not try it for 90 days? I mean, think about all the other things you've done for 3 months. Why not give it a shot for 90 days to see? Because think about they could in 90 days just order one time and probably still have product left, right? Some of you have seen the graphics that they do where it shows how much of the product you really need. You say buy 1 bottle of shampoo, 1 bottle of conditioner, buy a couple products, try it for 90 days. If you hate it, never have to do it again, you know? Another thing that we did that I think Mallory still does occasionally is we made beauty bags. And I had these 31 bags. I don't have one around here, but they were the little square cubes. And I used to put a sample shampoo and conditioner and some styling products in and instructions, and I drop it off to somebody to use for a couple shampoos and then go back and get it. Now you realize all that's tax deductible once you're giving those, using them that way. And that was well before we had samples. I mean, we've got samples now, but we don't even have samples of everything. So Mallory and I remember Mallory, we would do these beauty bags, had tuck a business card in the front if you've seen those 31 bag little cubes, and let somebody try your own product. Try mine for a couple shampoos and see how this works for you. But usually you have to get the product in their hand for them to see the benefit, because what they don't realize, and I'm probably going to screw the statistics up, Mallory, so help me here. Most shampoos, when you buy them, are over 80% water and 20% shampoo. And ours is 80% shampoo and 20% water. And what that means is it's a lot more concentrated. So when you start training people on the fact that one bottle of shampoo, depending on the length of your hair, one bottle of shampoo can last you a long time. Now, if you've got hair like some of you guys do that's really long and thick, it's not going to last as long. But when you start explaining this to somebody and say, just try one bottle, try to order once, pick a good sale, and then if you don't like it, we'll talk later. How's that for a start, Mal?
That's great. And I want to piggyback on that a little bit in terms of what we're doing here before we get into like the recommendation portion. So, what you're really doing is you're selling a vision. Um, and a great way to sell a vision is to initially be quiet and ask a lot of questions. So, you want to get a feel for somebody's hair, somebody's lifestyle, the pain points that they experience with their hair. So, one of my biggest questions is, what are your top concerns? What frustrates you the most about your hair? Like, if you could change three things about your hair, what would it be? And understand their pain points, but also understand what they're looking forward to in their life. So, if someone has an upcoming wedding or a trip, or they're just looking forward to summer, you can really give them a timeline and say, if we do X, Y, and Z, we get you started today on your journey. By summer, your hair is going to be rocking, or we're going to be able to help you make X amount of money. Whatever that is, you're really helping to sell a vision because you're living that vision, but they don't know what they don't know. Um, and it takes a very special person to get started in this business and just put blinders on and just do the do without really understanding what's going on. And that's what Caitlin's doing right now. And that's what I did when I started my journey. I just put blinders on, I got to work, and I always focused on who's the next person I could help. I didn't care about anything else. Who's the next VIP or next market partner I can help? Didn't give a crap about blocks or ranks or whatever. But if you just focus on that next person and then you enroll them and then you focus on the person after that, you do that, you are automatically building blocks and hitting ranks. So if you really put people first and you help people catch the vision, whatever that is, it really does require you to listen. So, what I like to do is ask the right questions, determine whether or not I'm even speaking to this person about a VIP opportunity or a market partner opportunity, because we all know that there's a time and place for each. And then once I get a feel for what's missing in their life, what they would change about their hair, whatever the case may be, then I can take pieces of my own story that are relatable to that person. So if somebody is a little bit lost, stuck in the rat race of not making enough money, and they're just behind the financial eight ball. They can't get ahead because their salary just isn't great. That's how I was when I started this business. I had a master's degree and my salary was $45,000 a year, and I was just never gonna like be able to do much more than that at the time. And so I could relate to somebody who, is just looking for a little bit more versus like, you guys might be able to relate to that mom that wants to be able to stay home with her kids, or, we all have different pieces of our journey that we use to relate to others. So I think it's important to really ask the right questions. And if you're struggling with what questions to ask a potential, let me know. I can come up with a list of really good questions that are thought provoking, that are going to give you the right information to direct you with your conversation. Um, but yeah, so let's talk a little bit about a new customer or a new market partner and what to keep in mind. So I don't generally ask what products they're using currently. It feels a little invasive to me. Sometimes they offer that information up, but sometimes that can really help determine what needs to happen next. So if I know that somebody's already crunchy and they're using a naturally based shampoo. What I know is that they care about ingredients, that they probably don't have a lot of bad product buildup on their hair. But what I also know about most natural shampoos is they aren't doing the job. Like they're okay, they're safe, but they're not effective. And that's what Monate does that stands out among the crowd of shampoos is they're able to take the best of science, the best of nature, develop a really great non-toxic shampoo that also performs. Because the performing shampoos are full of crap, the safe shampoos don't perform. And so what they've been able to do is merge those two to really come up with what we have never seen before in society. Monate found their niche when they realized that there's no such thing as anti-aging hair care on the market at that time. Your hair, your scalp aged so much faster than the skin on the rest of your body, and nobody was making an anti-aging shampoo. So they found their niche, and we filled a gap in the hair care industry that just nobody had ever filled. We have seen a lot of like attempts and copycats since, which it's flattering, when imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but nobody's done it like us. So I sometimes it can help to know what somebody was using before, but I don't make a habit of asking. What we do know is what you recommend is an equation. So your end number in this equation needs to be in a range. Your equation needs to leave somebody with clean hair, but also a replacement of hydration, moisture, all the things. So you can't have too many products in your equation that are stripping out the oils, the dirt, the impurities without replacing. And you can't have too many products that are really, really heavy without any clarification at all. So it's a balancing act that we're doing. So let me just use an example for you guys. The combination of Renew shampoo and Revitalize conditioner and the combination of Revive shampoo and Super Moisture Mask. What's the difference? You in one equation you've got a moisturizing shampoo with a light conditioner, and then in the next equation you've got a more clarifying shampoo with a more thirst quenching mask conditioner. At the root, at the end of the equation, the same person using both of those lineups may or may not feel similar about their hair. It's all a lot of it is a trial and error, a guessing game. But in that trial and error, you just want to always be cognizant of the fact that you're trying to balance out an equation. So whether that be, certain products that you're going to use after the shower to make sure you've replaced what you've taken out, that's also part of the equation. But a lot of this, we do develop our own bias as well. So what I like for my own hair tends to be what I recommend more. What I like for my skin tends to be what I talk about more. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because I don't love every single product that Monate's ever created. I'm not going to act like I do because then I would be a little bit of a fraud. They're not all right for me. And that's okay. That makes me real, that makes me honest, and that makes me human. But if I've got a curly girl, I'm going to put my personal bias aside. And I'm going to say, you know what? Katie Farmer texted me her routine. I want to kind of share with you what one of my curly girlfriends does with her hair. This is obviously not my hair type. And so we really have to play on one another and we have to speak about what works and what doesn't work for our different hair types because we are only one person with one head of hair and one set of experiences. We really do need to talk about these things. And so in terms of shampoos, we do have a lot more shampoos than we used to have, but I am going to share my screen and show you guys something. And to piggyback off of what I'm showing you, I'm going to let you know that I do hope to create something similar to this in the near future. So if you're not a part of the Team Surge Facebook page, please let me know. You need to be. I have 7 years worth of great things posted in the Team Surge Facebook page. Look how outdated my little logo and everything was. Bless my heart. I need to update things. But in the files section over here, Mom and I, mainly mom, organizational queen, she had created a bunch of files from the last time we did this product education series. Now, we have added a lot of products. Products have changed, names have changed, things have been discontinued, all sorts of crap has happened. But this was the document that she made for shampoos, as you can see down here, in July of 2020 is when we put this out. So this is 4 years old. But what she did was she broke down each shampoo, the best uses for each shampoo, tips, tricks, and notes, like key ingredients, things to keep in mind. And to be honest, if you went to the Team Search Facebook page and access this right now, most of this is actually relevant and current still. I'm surprised. We've
Hey,
got
Karen just asked a question, Mallory, while
oh,
you're on this, and
sorry,
I
I
think
can't
it's
see the
true.
chat anymore.
She's asking if she hasn't seen expiration dates on them, but do they expire?
Ah, they do.
Yeah.
So there is an expiration date, but I will say I've used plenty of product that is expired and it's still fine. Um, Here's what typically happens, guys, and I'm going to use an example for you, just because I think this is helpful in your life in general. When you go get lip filler, okay, your injector will tell you this lip filler will last you, 12 months. We'll see you in 12 months. Okay. No, that does not mean that lip filler is only going to last 12 months. It could last you 3, 5, 10 years, to be completely honest. The reason they say that is because their clinical trial for that filler was for 12 months. And so that's all they can personally guarantee is that they know that filler is going to last you 12 months. Okay. I don't know what our clinical trials look like in terms of our expiration. But when somebody says a filler or something like that is good for X amount of time, it's because that's all they can guarantee based on the clinical trials that they've done for that product in particular. That goes for
And
a lot of things.
and also because of look at the ingredients right here with the Rejuvenate oil and the ingredients, they do separate in the bottles.
Yes.
We used to have memes that went around years ago that said "shake to wake the product." Because you really should be shaking your shampoo,
Hmm.
conditioner, shake those products very well. And we always told people that because of the oil and stuff in it, you can have a little bit of separation, especially over time.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind too. Somebody may say, "Oh, this is really old." Shake it up good,
Yeah,
and so
and
that
that
makes a
goes for
difference.
brand new product too, because we don't have a bunch of synthetic fillers. You have you guys ever bought natural, like really, really healthy organic peanut butter and the oil sits at the top? Okay, same thing. Because that peanut butter doesn't have a bunch of extra fillers that keep that mixture all, it's not healthy things that keep a mixture mixed most of the time. There's a separation because it's the absence of those fillers. So always shake, even a brand new bottle. Every time you're about to put some in your hand, shake it. Yes. Um, so to answer your question, our rule of thumb is if a product is unopened, it's 2 years before expiration. Once you open the product, it's 1 year once oxygen hits it. So that's the rule of thumb, but I know that I have used product that's older than that. So you just kind of got to gauge, I guess. But that's technically the answer. Um, so in this document, like I was saying, really a lot of these are relevant. The revive, the renew, the smoothing. The smoothing
The
has a couple
smoothing's
of
gone.
The
The
smoothing has a couple
smoothing's
of variations now.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Advanced hydrating still exists. Restructuring is gone and we've replaced with another damage line. The intense repair is now called the IR Clinical, but it's the same formulation. Super Nourish Oil Cream is still the same. Black's still the same. Color Enhance was renamed to our purple shampoo. That was renamed to Violet Lights, and we only have the purple version. I don't think we have the clarifying in the lineup anymore. We have the micellar instead, and we also have added the 2 vinegar, which the vinegar rinse and the vinegar shampoo are both categorized as shampoos. And then of course the junior gentle shampoo. So not that you should take this document for Bible because it's from 2020, but there are still a lot of really helpful things on this document that are true and relevant. Just, I guess, use discretion because, when you come over to our shampoo lineup, you can clearly see the differences. Um, we also used to have
And
a
I will try to we'll try to get them updated, Mallory.
yeah, I'm gonna work on also some like visually appealing ones. Like, mom, what I would like
You
to do.
kinda what do you mean visually appealing? What was wrong with the way that looked? Somebody
Well, let
tell
me
me
let me
what was wrong
explain.
with the way that looked.
So at one point we had this really helpful thing, you guys, where we had a whole document or graphic that showed our shampoos from most clarifying to most moisturizing. So you could literally look at a timeline of shampoos and see most clarifying all the way to like the most heavy moisturizing shampoos. And I always thought that was really helpful because you could see a spectrum of like, you know, and then figure out where people should fall and all the things. So I might try to work on something like that, which is going to require me to do a lot of research. But I think as far as like newbie recommendations, um, keeping that equation in mind and at the forefront of all we do with a brand new person, we really need to address their scalp because the scalp is where all the action happens. So with using the products, you're going to be healing the hair strand itself because of our molecular structure, because of our ingredients. If someone's using the products, the hair strands will be taken care of. But we really do need to address the scalp and give that a little extra love in TLC. So I know it can be very, very challenging to get someone to order a hair care bundle and also order the Rejuvenique oil because that's expensive. Like, I get that. And so I think all we can only do the best that we can by starting them off with what we think is going to give them the most impact, give them the best results right up front, depending on their hair type and their goals. We're just trying to work with and do the best we can with their budget. But like what Caitlin's been doing, and it's really what we should all be doing, is that second flagship should always be an oil. Like, we know that. But also we do a lot of flash sales and I do think we could do a really great job of utilizing these sales to make sure we're getting people as much product as possible. And the fact that we can build carts and put them on our story is iconic. Like, you used to have 10,000 followers to put links on stories. It used to be not a thing that we could do. Now that we can build carts, Caitlin and I were talking today, you can literally build 10 very different specific carts during these sales. And I know it takes time. But if you're constantly putting that stuff out there, hey, so I just want to do a little Q&A. If anybody has any, I don't want to say a bunch of things that are irrelevant, but does anybody have any questions or anything going on right now that maybe we can address? No? Okay. I did put out today in the Team Surge chat, kind of like I did this in mind for newbies, the how to wash with Monat graphics, and I split them up so that they could be posted on stories. I tried to include a little bit of education in there, and step one was Rejuvenique oil. So that, you know, if I do create a graphic that shows all of that on one slide and you're able to send it to your new VIP, like, hey, just a reminder, this is how you're going to wash once you get your box, etc.
Yeah.
They're going to see step one is Rejuvenique oil. Even if they didn't buy it, they're going to see step one and they're going to see that I've emphasized this is the game changing step. So hopefully, we can build enough value for someone to justify the price of the oil because I know it's intimidating. I know getting that oil in the mail and not understanding how to use it is a little intimidating. But that's why we make money, guys. That's why someone buys from us is because they want a personal consultant, somebody that they can go to at 10 p.m., at 8 a.m. and say, okay, I'm about to wash my hair. What do I do? When you go to Walgreens, you don't have that. So that's the difference between what we do. And
We have a
some,
question.
oh,
We have a question.
I have a
Sorry.
question.
Emma asked about a customer that is having chemo, losing hair.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Business
I
wise and personal wise.
Yeah.
So this is so touchy, and this is a hard conversation because you also want to just be so respectful and without making any like crazy claims. I mean, our products have been used by a lot of chemo patients. We all know that. I personally helped several chemo patients. Um, I think, and you know what? We have a really dedicated market partner that has gone through chemo probably 5 times. That is devout Monique. She's my level 2 under Tanya Bukowski. The important thing to address with chemo patients is getting the scalp ready for regrowth. The Rejuvenate oil is going to be the best friend in this case, and the Capixyl. So as much Capixyl as we can possibly get on the scalp, and also nutrients, you know, internal. And I know we sell some wellness supplements, but I always think outside the box. So as far as business, if I were going to talk to somebody who's currently doing chemo and say they already like the product or they're starting to use the product, and I want to approach them about business, I would go in with, you're going to have a really, really profound story to tell. Your testimony is going to be your biggest asset in this business. If you know you've lost a lot of your hair, all of your hair, and Monate is able to help you grow that hair back as healthy and quickly as possible, and you're able to show that and you're passionate about that, that testimony alone is going to make you extremely successful in this business. Um, I've heard a lot of people
J
say it, you
Yeah.
know, like,
You just have to watch
yeah,
what you, promise as well, because it becomes very sticky. Obviously, like Mallory said, what Monate does, and it's maybe not a good analogy, but Monate provides the fertilizer needed to get the hair to grow. You know, fertilizer, you know how that anybody who gardens or does anything like that knows, you can grow it without fertilizer, but really good soil and fertilizer does so much more. And that's all we can do sometimes is help prepare the scalp and help prepare the follicles and try to get things ready. They're still going to lose their hair, so don't tell anybody. It will help you to stop losing your hair from chemo because that's just not going to be possible. They're
right.
still going to lose their hair and they're still going to deal with it. So just watch promising things too much because that gets us and other multi-level marketing companies in trouble a little bit sometimes is we can make claims about our products that may not necessarily be true for everyone, but you can help a person bounce back as quickly as their body is able, not knowing their nutrition, not knowing other things going on in the body, but you can do what you can to get the scalp ready, as Mallory said, for hair growth once they're done with treatment. So that's kind of what you need to focus on in that conversation a little bit.
And I think that's across the board, you know, rather than saying, you know, if someone has an inspo photo or whatever, rather than saying, oh, we're going to get you to hair like this, I would always use the phrase, we're going to help you get the best hair that you can have for you
Yeah.
because everyone's got different hair styles, textures, undertones, etc. You know, I'm never going to have thick, luscious hair. I have very fine, thin hair. That's my hair type. Like, I'm only after getting the best hair that Mallory can possibly have because Mallory is not Caitlin. Caitlin's got very thick hair. I've got very thin hair, you know. So I think that jargon goes for across the board, not just, you know, someone with extreme hair loss. Like, hey, let's give you the best chance possible at having the best hair you can possibly have, and then you're safe. Um,
And one other thing I want to mention too, and this isn't really about, not necessarily about cancer patients or ill patients, but this is something I always got. I never knew how to step into this because we all know if you start somebody off with shampoo and conditioner and they are still dabbling in other products, every time they put those products on their hair, they're undoing some of the good they've done with Monate. And that becomes a very difficult situation because you hate to present this as an all or nothing. And you hate to say it's drinking from, a cup versus drinking from the fire hose. You want them to tiptoe into this because all of a sudden you're seeing, oh, you want this huge sale, it's $500 for me to get all this stuff. But what you want to do as you're filling their baskets is start to plant the seeds of, some of those other products are very toxic. They have gas derivatives in it. The follicles on your head absorb things within, what was the statistic, Mallory? 17 seconds of you putting it on your scalp, it's
Yeah.
getting into your bloodstream because they're the largest follicles in the body. And so we have style products that can help keep your scalp healthy, because scalp health, as we keep harping over and over, is the most important thing about all of our products. It's to make the scalp healthy and prepare it for growing hair. So you have to be careful. Don't do the fire hose method of, oh, and you've got to have the hairspray and this stuff, unless the person is very wealthy and just said, get me whatever I need to make this work. You want to start tiptoeing into that, or they're visiting sometime, or you say, hey, I've got this hairspray. Maybe you want to try this sometime, and see, does it hold? Does it work for you? I've stopped using hairspray since I started using Monate, and I was an 80s gal. I mean, I had hair, permed hair with lots of hairspray. So for somebody like me to go without hairspray, I'll have to scrounge up a. That's why I'm almost bald now, I'm convinced. But all the crap I put on my hair in the 80s and the perms we used to do and things, I just fried my hair. But you want to find a way to tiptoe into it without overwhelming the person. Mallory, maybe you have a better
Yeah.
way
Well, you
to.
just always want to be respectful of someone's budget and their desires. And all you can do is work with what someone's telling you they want from you and educating and providing the best information possible, without being condescending, without demanding anything or saying, "Oh no, you have to buy all." No, just be respectful and but be very share value and be educational so that moving forward you get them thinking like, okay, she did say, I wouldn't see results as quickly without, whatever. I want to answer Emma's question quick, and then I think Caitlin had something to say. Emma's asking, now that she's done with chemo, do we still need to mention that we need to get the scalp ready? So the scalp is where your hair grows. So in all cases, at all times, we want the scalp to be as healthy as possible. So regardless of whether she's in chemo or done with chemo, it's the same thing, really. You want to make sure that the scalp's pH is balanced, it's moisturized, you're doing oil treatments, and that you're getting as much of the Capixyl ingredient on it as possible. That rings true all of the time, whether she's in the process or after. We all need to focus on making sure our scalp is balanced, making sure that if our goal is growth, which obviously in her case the goal would be growth, just getting products on the scalp as much as possible without being too much. So every 2-3 days, whatever, letting the product sit on the scalp for 30 seconds for shampoo, a minute or two for conditioner. Because if you're buying these amazing products and you put them on and rinse it off right away, they didn't really have time to do anything. So using the product as much as possible, letting it sit, etc. And I want to give Caitlin a chance to say what she was going to say.
I was just gonna kind of share like an idea when we were talking about the chemo patient and how we were talking about kind of whether business or personal. I would kind of approach it like how Janelle was saying at the beginning, how there's all pros and no cons of being a market partner. And when you're going on this journey to regrow your hair after chemo, I mean, that is going to be a process. That is no overnight fix. So we're going to go on this journey together. So when you become a market partner, you have all those extra you have the highest level of discounts and you're getting those extra bonuses or coupons and stuff like that. So like, why not, if you're ready to go on this journey to grow back your hair, do it as a market partner. So at the end of this all, hopefully we can share that testimony, but also just so you can get the highest level of discounts while you're on that journey, because it's going to be, it's not going to just happen overnight. So you get the highest level of discounts as a
That's
market
so
partner.
true. That's such a great point. And honestly, if in that case, her where would you rank her prior hair as a priority of hers? You're gonna rank it high, whereas someone else, their hair growth might not rank in like the top 10 in their life right now, if that were me in my confidence and me wanting to like bounce back and be me again, getting my hair growing would rank like in the top 3, right? So like Caitlin's saying, like that's a huge priority and we're in a journey now. Like we're going on a trip together. So you may as well go all in. I'm in this, we're with you. We're doing this together. There's no cons, all pros. And I think that's a great way to approach business partners if it's something you struggle with. Because some of us are better at recruiting VIP, some of us are better at recruiting business partners. And it all has to do with the way we handle and carry our conversations. We get to guide people in a direction. They may not realize it, but we get to take a conversation and guide them this direction or that direction. It's up to us. And so we have a natural inclination. My inclination when I first started was VIP. I didn't know how to ask somebody to be a business partner of mine. I did not know how to ask somebody that. And it took a couple of market partners, my mom included, to just say, I want to be, in order for me to learn how to even ask someone to join me in business. So we all have our natural inclinations, but if you aren't good or strong at enrolling market partners and you've got someone interested and say they're like pretty interested in buying a lot of product, I would just say, hey, listen, there are no cons, all pros to going the market partner route. Let's go on that journey together. Like, would you be up for doing that with me? What's the worst that's going to happen? They say no. Who cares?
You hate the
No?
shampoo, never buy it again. You don't renew your membership. I asked Mallory, now, what's a membership now? Is it $50? Does anybody remember offhand? I think is it $50? You don't have to do that again. And some people have elected not to and chosen not to. And it's you learn quickly too. Um, I got my hair done by somebody here in town, and they use some holistic products. And what we did both agree is hers may be very good products, but I've spent years researching these and I'm just too darn lazy to spend the time to research hers. So it wasn't, I tried to make sure she knew I wasn't trying to put down the product she was using or offering it all. It was more laziness on my part because I had spent so much time understanding Monate. I wasn't willing to trust without doing the research. And I flat out just didn't want to. And then she kind of laughed about it and said, that's so true. And I said, I know it's a safe bet. It's sticking with something I know. The devil you know is better than the one you don't, right?